What up, folks? Welcome back to Don't Be Kurt, and today we're going to go back to a little thing I like doing, which is reviewing the rental cars I get. So today we're dealing with a 2024 Toyota Corolla Cross, and I think as a point A to point B car, it fits in the mold of good enough with a little bit more tech than I expected. And I'll go give you a little tour and talk about it and what I think about this Toyota Corolla Cross. All right, so the Toyota Corolla Cross. Let's talk about the name Toyota Corolla. This is a car name that we've known forever. And funny as it is, Toyota out in Japan, which we've never really had here in the United States, has the Toyota Crown, which was their flagship sedan. And Corolla is Latin for small crown. So that's where the name comes from. But the Corolla has had so many forms, from small sedan base to hot hatch to small wagon, on and on. And the Corolla nameplate has been with us forever. So now in this form, Toyota Corolla Cross, we now have the Corolla in the form of a crossover. And that is today's rental car for me, is what I'm reviewing, because I got it and I think, hey, this is a nice little point A to point B car. And you know, these are, again, cars that aren't normally on the beaten path for other YouTubers and reviewers, but I think it's worth talking about. So this Toyota Corolla Cross that I have is basically a 2024 XLE version. So from what I'm seeing, what I have here is heated seats. You got the Toyota infotainment system, which I'll flip the camera out here in a little second to go over. CVT transmission, and it has an all-right engine. Yeah, the engine's a 2.2 liter, about 169 horsepower, 150 foot-pounds of torque. It's not that great, especially in this XLE being all-wheel drive. So I liken it, as those who follow me know, I drive a 91 E30 318. It's about the same speed as that car. It's not, it'll get you where you're going. I don't think necessarily in emergency maneuvers that it feels all that great for getting around somebody, but it will get up to speed limit speeds and is good for city driving and stuff like that. Now, as for size and stuff in here, it's really more akin to me like the original RAV4. It's about that size in here. It's not that big. I'd say the back seat is kind of tight, which we'll go over that and stuff like that. But that's it for a general overview. Now let's kind of start diving into the details and give more of an impression of what it's like driving this thing. All right, so I'm not normally one to read the owner's manual of a rental car, but with these safety systems, it's curious to see what it's really capable of. You know, you can turn the cruise control on and see if the car kind of follows the lanes. And I did that yesterday, but I'm now looking in the manual, and this does have what is called lane tracing assist. So it says when driving on a road with clear lane lines with the dynamic radar cruise control operating, lane lines and preceding and surrounding vehicles are detected, and using the front camera and radar sensors, the steering wheel is operated to maintain the vehicle's lane position. Now, reading through this, it also had a weird warning talking about something to the point where when a preceding or surrounding vehicle changes lanes, your vehicle may follow the preceding or surrounding vehicle and also change lanes. I didn't experience that. I'm now curious about that actually happening. But this car does have Toyota Sense 3.0, and like I said earlier in the video, some of the stuff I wasn't prepared for, whereas even without the dynamic cruise control on, it seemed to want to apply the brakes as we approach other cars. So that was a little weird. Safety, but weird if you weren't expecting it. And it has a lot of collision detection and stuff going on here. So the interior of the Toyota Cross here, I mean, it is what it is. This is what I consider a point A to point B car. It has all the things you would expect. Now, the materials aren't hard touch plastic. They aren't too bad for being plasticky. I mean, it's nice and soft in here, but there's not much in terms of like, wow, this is really gonna knock your socks off, as it shouldn't be, because this starts at 25 grand for the LE model, I believe, and XLE would be around 29 to 30 grand for this. Now, the car does have Toyota's new infotainment system, does wireless CarPlay. I don't have an Android phone. I don't have my Android phone with me to talk about Android Auto, but I'm sure it does work for Android Auto. Cool things are with this system is that you get the stuff that nicer cars have. Well, I shouldn't say nicer, but other upscale cars would have. So For example, I can say Toyota. Hey Toyota, I'm hot.
Setting the driver's temperature to 72 degrees.
Now that is the peak of laziness, but you get the idea that you can talk to the car. It's somewhat responsive and ask for different things. As for the dash layout, this is pretty much it. So you have a selection in the center part here where you can put different stuff in here. Like if you're playing music, you can show that. It will pop up and interact with the CarPlay navigation. So if there's some directions coming up, you'll get that from the car up here in this little thing. You have your trip meter, changing your safety systems, which we'll talk about a little bit later, and other stuff, average mileage and other things. Not much to write home about. Again, for this type of car, I do think it provides some good features. I mean, it is what it is. You have a 2-zone climate system, heated seats, USB-C power, and then again, you guys know how I feel about these transmissions from my previous reviews. It has a CVT. I don't like them. I've not seen them executed well yet in regular cars, but that's where we're going. And of course, the steering wheel has all these controls. So it does have adaptive cruise control and all those controls over here. Over car controls, audio controls, and so on and so forth. And it's pretty good. Driving it here yesterday in Denver traffic, I found that its adaptive cruise and lane keep was pretty good. What I found weird was, even when you weren't using adaptive cruise, this thing was really ready to brake on its own. Very, very interesting. Another thing I should mention, and I've mentioned this before in my Nissan Rogue review and other reviews, sound system is important. And the factory sound system in here is passable. And I shouldn't say passable like it's just passable. No. Like this is, I think if you had this, there's nothing to be upset about. Good bass response, good mid-range, good treble. I checked the settings when I went on there. Everything was at neutral, so that was the car as is. And I thought, hey, you know what? For the music I listen to, which is kind of eclectic sometimes, it seemed to be pretty good and was enjoyable. It wasn't like one where I'm like, oh my gosh, this is horrible. So you buy this thing, and maybe the XLE trim has a better stereo, I don't know, but at least in this Toyota Cross, you get a sound system that is enjoyable. All right, so let's go see what it's like in the back seat. All right, so as you know, I've just talked many times, I'm not the largest of fellas, so this is the Toyota Corolla Cross with me in the back seat, with the seat where I'm at in a comfortable driving position. So it's not bad in terms of leg room. This car is really narrow, so I would think with 5 people in here, it would feel really crowded and a little bit claustrophobic if you had it fully loaded. But as it stands, if you had just some less than 6 foot tall people in here, it's not bad. Headroom, as you can see, not bad. 6'2", 6'3" person might still fit in here. I wouldn't go too much taller than that in here. But outside of that, there's not much back here. Let me flip it around. So well, now you get some hard touch plastic. So while the front had nice soft touch, the plastic here is kind of hard. You get your cup holder here in the door. There's 2 more cup holders here in the middle. And you have some rear vents here, so it's not too stifling. You can kind of see here how narrow it is. So I don't have the largest of hands, but that's about your, the width you got between the passenger seat, driver and passenger seat up front. And back behind us, we have the trunk. And that's it. I mean, it's a point A to point B car, and I think, again, this is one that I would highly recommend to anybody who just needs something that they can casually have and drive to do grocery shopping, go to work, and just do regular life stuff. Now, this does have along with this cheap plastic, this does feel really cheap here in the back. I guess they save their money for the driver. And now on to the trunk, which yesterday, I don't have my suitcases. It fit 2 of those small travel bags pretty well, and backpacks. It's not the largest of trunks, but again, for a small family of 3, possibly 4, this vehicle should be enough. And again, this is a subcompact crossover. I mean, let's keep our expectations where they should be, I think. So that's the inside and outside of the Corolla Cross. A little bit, we'll go for a little ride and I'll just talk more about it. I mean, it's a underpowered why do I say that? It's a 4-cylinder with a CVT, 169 horsepower, 0 to 69.2 seconds. It is what it is, but I'll still talk about what it's like driving it. And before we leave the front seat, we'll talk about, it's got full adjustable power seats on the driver's side, and let's go see what we got on the passenger side. A lot of times these cars only give you this on one side. And let's see what Toyota has for us. And I was not shocked to see manual controls on this side. Again, this car starts at 25 grand, so at 30 grand for this. I'm not too pleased with the fact that this is what we're paying for these days, but given where we are today in today's market, I think you're getting a quality vehicle. You know Toyota, you know it's gonna last a long time without problems. We've never heard of problematic Toyotas, and I believe that's what you're paying for here. So $30,000, you get a nice point A to point B car. Now, would I buy one? Yeah, actually. I drive lots of different vehicles, and for just a regular commuter car, yeah, I would have no issues with this if I was in the market for a market for a new subcompact crossover. So driving the Toyota Cross. Now, I'm gonna ignore this because this is the rental and you got to go through the setup process. But what I have noticed is how long it takes for wireless CarPlay to start, and this time is going to prove me wrong. So previous drives, it has taken forever, but it looks like we're there instantly. But like yesterday, we're getting ready to go somewhere and it took forever, and I don't care if this address is showing the address to a college, and I'm on my way to a graduation, hence the reason I'm in Denver, hence the reason I'm in this Toyota Cross. Okay, so driving the Toyota Cross. It's nighttime and I'm still in Denver, and depending on the videos, might seem a little disjointed with different outfits and stuff, but had to find a time where I could ride and just, and be able to talk about the car. And so what I will say is this: I probably in other segments have said like this is a car I would definitely drive. And for normal, if I'm just in the city, point A to point B, that type of work, it's fine. However, on the highway, if it needs to get out of its own way, I find this car kind of dangerous. It's not really responsive, but then again, that's the CVT effect sometimes with this 160 horsepower engine. I don't know. I'm not comfortable with it, only because it just seems like it's like the rubber band effect. It's not all that great. So, but outside of that, it's comfortable. The safety features are magnanimous. It does an amazing job, even though it might be a little annoying when parking, as you'll see. The lane tracking assistant is pretty cool. It does appear to really track lanes. I mean, a lot of cars have lane keep assistant, but this one actually does some sort of lane tracking, and does warn you every now and then when it can't read the road to make sure you have control of the car. But you can't take your hand off the steering wheel for long anyway, so take that for what it's made. It's not truly autopilot or self-driving, but it doesn't advertise to be that. Braking seems to be pretty good. The suspension is average for a crossover, and it's not much to write home about. I don't have much else really to add to this. I mean, it's not like a performance car when we talk about how at corners or whatever, it's average. But given the price point for it, and I think the safety features are really off the charts for this, it's definitely worth it for that. The auto stopping, auto braking for things coming across you, cross traffic alerts, all the stuff it's got going on there. All right, so final reviews again. I'm actually on the highway now, so as you can hear, CVT. It does what it does. Lane tracking works. We're doing our stuff here. Decent car, point A to point B. I'm gonna stick to the same thing. I don't necessarily know, again, if I was gonna be on the highway a lot, if this is the car for me, only because in tight traffic situations where you have to make a quick maneuver, it's not very responsive, and that, for what I'm used to, poses a little problem. Like if I need to squeeze in some places to change lanes or whatever, or merge quickly, this is not the car. So that's just a little bit of takeaway from highway driving, and probably from the microphone you can hear what the road noise is like. It's a little loud, but turn the radio up, it goes away. And that is the Toyota Corolla Cross driving experience. Just a real cut here. This is the trunk with luggage loaded in there. So you got 2 backpacks, 2 overhead suitcases, whatever you want to call those things, and some food. And that's about it. So really, if you're a family of 4 trying to travel in this car, it might not be the best. But for 2 people, need something a little bigger to go someplace, and maybe you want to go pick up some mulch, and those seats can fold down, you can fill it up like that. So this is the Toyota Cross luggage space. Also, another thing to know about the Toyota Cross is the gas mileage. So in my time driving it, I did about 30-ish miles to the gallon, 31 here and there. So it's okay gas mileage. It's not really anything to write home about. Part of it could be me. I do have a lead foot, but it's better than what I get on my regular cars. I'll say that much, but it is what it is. So filling up for my time here, where I used 1.7 gallons for the weekend. So hey, it's a win. Actually, I can't read. I used 5.1 gallons. Actually, I can't read. I used $17.67 worth of gas, which was like 5.1 of 85 octane, which we don't have out where I'm from. So yeah, so that's Toyota Cross, y'all. Kind of gas efficient, maybe. I would say for those who are looking for a point A to point B car that is primed with a lot of safety features, this is an actual excellent choice. Now, some of these might be off-putting for those who don't like cars wresting control from you, but between its pre-collision systems and all the other stuff going on here, this is a really good choice, I think, for getting a car that has all those type of features, especially at this cost point, about 30 grand for the XLE model. I'm not sure if the LE model has all these things. Perhaps there might be an interstitch here where future me goes while I'm editing this to kind of verify this. But well, past me knows future me well. So, doing a little research, the Corolla Cross actually comes in an L variant, which the base price is $23,860. And yeah, that all those safety features come with its standard. So you get Toyota Safety Sense 3.0, which has also stuff like radar cruise control, dynamic radar, lane departure alert, lane tracking assist, and all that. So overall, you do get a pretty good deal, and at $23,000, you know what? It's a good car. If somebody's looking for a point A to point B car, it's good. Better than what I'm probably letting off on past me is thinking, but $23,800, not bad. And also, it comes in a hybrid form. That's its top variant, hybrid XLE form, which maybe everyone feels a little bit better in hybrid form than this one did to me. So I don't have access to one to drive it, but that's probably a good one to check out if this is the type of vehicle that you would be interested in. As it stands with XLE, this is pretty good. A pretty good setup for safe driving. And like I said, it goes back to the theme. Point A to point B cars that have these things where you can cruise comfortably, you can get to where you're going, it's a no fuss car, whatever. A lot of that tough stuff is worth it, and I think here with Toyota quality, like I said before, you're gonna get a good car. It's cheap in some ways, and that's kind of disappointing considering how much these cost. Like, there is a lot of plasticky feeling in the back seat, but it is what it is. So with that, guys, I just want to say thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. I got a few other reviews coming too of some other cars that don't necessarily fit the point A to point B mold, but I think are interesting and I think are stuff you guys should know about that aren't really talked about by many reviewers. So, anyways, y'all, if you enjoy the type of content, please like, subscribe. It's slow going, but I enjoy doing this and I enjoy just sharing what I'm experiencing here with these different cars. And together we will grow a movement, and maybe one day we'll have this whole big fun time of a get together at one of these Cars and Coffees in St. Louis or elsewhere, because right now I'm filming this out of Denver. So, I'd love to meet some people and get a little car club of people of my own together. So, catch you all later. Peace.